Hello everybody, Kris Gethin here. Today I'm going to explain to you how you can go from good to great by training to absolute failure. What is failure to begin with? You always hear about people talk about it in the gym. Bro, you got to train to absolute failure. Failure to me means that you could not push out one more rep even if someone had a gun to your head. That is what failure is. Now the reason why you'd want to go to failure, so I'll explain to you, I'll break it down like this. Let's say if you're going to hit 12 repetitions in an exercise, okay? You get to 11, you get to 12, you could have possibly done 13, maybe 14, but you stay at 12. Now you haven't given your body or your muscle fibers a purpose to protest. How do they protest? They protest by getting bigger, stronger, denser, fuller, exactly what we are after if we want to be an evolving bodybuilder. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to place that muscle under an environment where it has to protest. That is failure. So let's say if I tell you to get to 12 repetitions, but you only get to 11. Now what you'd possibly do is just rest for a second and you'd squeeze out one more rep until you get to 12. That is absolute failure. Or you could even have somebody assist you through that one rep that you cannot do to yourself. But you have to ask this question. Could I have done one more rep even if I had somebody holding a gun to my head? As Dorian Yates once put it, and that's 6 times Mr. Olympia, he said, you have to be as desperate for that last rep as you are as desperate to breathe. Now think about that. If you were to be in a bath or in a pool, submerge yourself under the water and you hold your breath as long as you possibly could. Think about that desperation, imagine it, visualize it. So when you're training to absolute failure on that bicep curl, on that leg extension, leg press, squat, whatever it may be, think to yourself, am I as desperate to get that one rep out as I am to breathe? Now, some people, if you look at some programs, they'll suggest, okay, increase the weights, pyramid up with those weights, maybe decrease the repetitions, but you wouldn't go to failure on the first few working sets. Warm-up sets, I understand. You shouldn't go to failure, maybe 60% of your max, 70% of your max. But then when it comes to your working sets, some say, well, maybe you should do like 90% to failure, 95, and then 100 on your last set. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. If you are a natural athlete, you want to break down those muscle tissues as hard as you possibly can and do it again and again. If you feel that for some reason, maybe you've got a little bit of an injury, you're just getting back into training, you don't have the strength as you once did or somebody else, then maybe do more sets, more volume of failure. Keep tapping on that nail until you get it all the way into that piece of wood. And that is failure. I personally like to do anywhere from 3 to 10 sets on a certain exercise to absolute failure every time. Some people say, well, I'm going to get sore legs. I got to do work the next day. Yeah, that's normal. 99% of the people out there bodybuilding have a normal laborious job the next day. And your legs should always be sore. Your back is probably going to be sore. Your biceps are going to be sore because you've broken it down to absolute failure. Now your job is to dictate your performance in your next workout by your recovery from your supplementation, your nutrition, your hydration, your rest, your recovery, your sleep. But you have to stimulate the purpose of that recovery and nutrition and hydration by the failure of your workout. So, to conclude, if you want a successful body, if you want a successful physique, if you want a successful workout, you have to find failure. So next time you get to the gym, fail in order to succeed. I'm Kris Gethin. If you like this video, if you want to see more videos like this, please, please, please do comment below. If you've got any more questions, you can ask them below. And of course, subscribe.